Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where the party never ends, even after death. But at night, something wakes up. They're not just machines, they remember. Mike thought it was just a job, until the animatronics started hunting. One office, no escape, no second chances. Can he survive the final shift? The darkness watches, the past returns. Welcome to the nightmare. The film opens with an unsettling shot of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, once the crown jewel of family entertainment. Bright lights once lit up the facade, children's laughter echoed through the halls, and the animatronics, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, danced and sang, delighting their young audience. But now the building is a shell of its former self. Faded neon lights flicker weakly, casting eerie glows on the cracked windows, and the once joyful sounds have been replaced by a silence so thick it's suffocating. The camera slowly pans across the entrance, revealing a dilapidated sign that barely clings to its rusted frame. The exterior, once a symbol of childhood wonder, now feels like a forgotten relic. As the camera pushes inside, the atmosphere is heavy with decay. The walls are lined with old posters, the bright colors now muted and peeling. The once cheerful animatronics stand eerily still, their mechanical eyes blank, their faces locked in permanent, unsettling smiles. There is something deeply wrong about them now. These lifeless creatures were once meant to bring joy, but they now exude a sense of menace. The camera lingers on each of them, their motionless bodies casting long, creepy shadows, as if waiting for something. A low hum of malfunctioning machinery echoes through the empty restaurant, adding to the tense atmosphere. The camera pulls back, revealing the abandoned dining area, where remnants of birthday parties, forgotten hats, spilled confetti, and party decorations lie scattered across the floor. The faint sound of children's laughter echoes from somewhere distant, and for a brief moment, it feels like something is watching. It's clear now. This place was once filled with innocent joy, but it now holds a deep darkness, a history that has been buried, with secrets lurking in every shadow. The scene wraps up with a close-up of Freddy Fazbear's face, his empty eyes staring straight at the camera, almost as if inviting us to uncover the terrifying mysteries this place hides. The ominous music swells as the screen fades to black, and the viewer is left with a feeling of dread. Something sinister has happened here, and it's about to come alive again. As the clock ticks toward the dead of night, Mike Schmidt steps into the dimly lit security office of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. It's his first night on the job, but something feels off. The air is heavy, with the musty scent of an abandoned place, and the hum of the flickering lights adds to the unease. Mike sets down his bag, adjusts his uniform, and before he even gets a chance to settle in, the previous security guard bursts through the door, looking like a man who's barely holding it together. His eyes are wide, his voice shaky. "Listen, kid," he says, his tone low, almost as if he's sharing a dark secret. "These animatronics, they're not what you think. They act normal during the day, sure, but at night they're different." He glances nervously over his shoulder, almost expecting one of them to appear. Mike chuckles, brushing it off. "What? You think they come to life or something? Just because they're old robots doesn't mean they're dangerous." The guard shakes his head, looking like he wants to say more, but he's too exhausted, too terrified. "I'm telling you, they're alive. There's something wrong with this place. And those animatronics, they're dangerous. People have disappeared, children, workers. No one talks about it, but trust me, just keep your eyes open. And whatever you do, don't let them get too close. They'll hurt you." Mike rolls his eyes, thinking it's just the ramblings of an overworked guy who cracked under pressure. Yeah, I'll be fine. Thanks for the warning, but I got this." As the guard stumbles out of the room, Mike settles in, but the unease lingers. The office is cold, too cold for comfort, and the silence is unnerving. He shoves the guard's words aside, chalking them up to stress or superstition. But as he stares at the monitor screens, the flickering cameras showing the motionless animatronics, something doesn't sit right. The night is just beginning, and he has no idea what he's about to face. Mike's first night on the job starts off relatively calm, with only the low hum of the old security equipment and the occasional squeak of the building's creaky walls breaking the silence. Mike Schmidt sits at his desk, fumbling with the security system controls, trying to figure out how the whole setup works. He's surrounded by monitors, each one showing different areas of the restaurant, and the screen of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza looks almost too peaceful in the light of day. But there's an unease in the air, an uneasiness that Mike can't shake. As the clock strikes midnight, everything changes. Mike notices the animatronics. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy suddenly start to move, their once stationary bodies jerking into unsettling positions. At first, he thinks it's just a glitch in the system, but it quickly becomes clear that these machines are not malfunctioning. They are actively wandering the halls, their mechanical joints creaking as they shuffle about. The cameras show their lifeless eyes, now alive with something sinister, scanning the dark corners of the restaurant. Mike squints at the screens, unsure if he's seeing things, but then he hears the unmistakable sound of footsteps echoing in the distance. As Mike cycles through the different cameras, the full scope of the horror sets in. The animatronics are not only moving around, but they are also actively searching for something or someone. Mike, his pulse quickens as he realizes that the robots are hostile, and the whole night is about him trying to avoid becoming their next victim. He watches in horror as the animatronics approach the security office on the cameras, and it becomes clear that they're not just malfunctioning. These creatures are dangerous, and they are intent on getting closer. The camera shows Foxy, usually hidden in the shadows, now darting out from his lair, his ragged movements as erratic as the flickering lights. Bonnie and Chica move in unison, almost as if they're hunting. With his heart pounding in his chest, Mike tries to shut the security doors to protect himself, but it's not enough. The lights flicker as the animatronics keep coming closer, their movements erratic and unnervingly precise. Mike's only hope now is to survive the night by keeping them at bay, watching the cameras, using the door controls and lights to create distance. But every time he thinks he's safe, the animatronics return, more relentless than before. Mike's first night is a relentless, nerve-wracking test of survival. As he watches the animatronics stalk the restaurant, he realizes that these creatures are not just malfunctioning machines. They are something far darker, something twisted by unseen forces. The chilling truth sinks in. These animatronics are hunting him, and they won't stop until they have him. As the nights wear on, Mike's once skeptical attitude toward the animatronics shifts into pure fear. Each night, the animatronics grow bolder, and their behavior becomes increasingly erratic and unpredictable. At first, Mike only noticed the mechanical glitches and strange movements, animatronics wandering aimlessly, twitching in place, their eyes eerily locked on him from across the monitors. But now, their movements are more deliberate, more calculated, as if they are hunting him, closing in with each passing hour. Night after night, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy become more aggressive, their glowing eyes never leaving Mike's security office. At times, he can hear the distant sounds of their footsteps, the mechanical screeches of their joints as they shuffle closer. The quiet hum of the building now feels suffocating, amplified by the sounds of the animatronics moving through the halls. The sense of being watched grows unbearable. Mike knows they are out there, searching, waiting for any sign of weakness, and the reality that he's trapped in this suffocating maze of corridors begins to sink in. The real terror begins when Mike learns about the mask. Through a frantic phone call from a former security guard, he discovers a desperate survival tactic, wearing a Freddy Fazbear mask to blend in with the animatronics and make them think he's one of them. Mike quickly realizes the necessity of this mask, as it seems to distract the animatronics, making them halt their advance toward him, at least for a moment. He tests it, the mask fitting over his face, hoping it will buy him enough time to survive, but it's not as simple as just putting it on. The animatronics grow more persistent, learning how to recognize the mask's deception. As the nights stretch on, the moments of relief become shorter, and the animatronics get closer, their actions more aggressive. Freddy now stalks Mike in a way that suggests he's studying him, analyzing his movements as if trying to figure out how the mask works. Foxy, the most unpredictable, becomes a terrifying force, lunging from the shadows when Mike least expects it and almost breaking through the security doors, forcing Mike to scramble and reset everything in a panic. The tension is relentless. Mike realizes that the mask, while effective, doesn't always work. Sometimes the animatronics don't fall for it and get too close, their mechanical fingers reaching out as if to grab him. Other times, Mike is forced to flick the security lights on and off desperately to push them back, but the battery life is limited and the power is draining fast. The constant feeling of being out of control and trapped only escalates with every passing night. Mike is no longer fighting just to survive, but to keep his sanity intact as the animatronics get increasingly hostile and more determined to destroy him. Night after night, the pattern grows more predictable, but the animatronics seem to adapt, growing more cunning in their pursuit. Each night, Mike feels the noose tighten as the walls close in, and the animatronics become increasingly aware of his every move. The mask, once a glimmer of hope, now feels like a fragile shield, and every second spent in the security office feels like an eternity of tension, building to a terrifying, inevitable confrontation. As the nights drag on, Mike's sense of dread deepens. But it's not just the animatronics he needs to fear, it's the horrifying history of Freddy Fazbear as Pizza that begins to unravel around him. What seemed like random glitches and mechanical malfunctions now takes on a darker meaning. Mike begins to notice strange, cryptic messages on the walls, hidden in the corners of the security office, as if someone before him had tried to leave a warning. The messages, scrawled hastily, tell of a horrific truth: the disappearances of children. One night, while reviewing old security footage from the restaurant, Mike stumbles upon an old news broadcast detailing the mysterious disappearances that occurred at Freddy Fazbear Pizza years ago. The news story reports how children had gone missing from the pizzeria, with the police investigation reaching a dead end. There were rumors, whispers of a dark figure seen around the restaurant. The Purple Man, a mysterious employee who was rumored to have been involved in the children's abductions. But the mystery of what happened to those children never really came to light. Soon after, Mike encounters something far more disturbing. One night, while exploring the old parts of the restaurant on the cameras, he sees the animatronics acting strangely, almost possessed. As he watches, he realizes that these robots, these once innocent entertainers, are now the vessels for something far darker. The animatronics no longer seem like simple machines. They are haunted, inhabited by the spirits of the murdered children who are seeking vengeance for their untimely deaths. The sinister, flickering footage shows moments where the animatronics' eyes glow a deep, unnatural red, and in their frozen, jerking movements, Mike can almost sense that the children's souls are crying out for justice. Desperate for answers, Mike begins to piece together the truth. The animatronics' violent, erratic behavior stems from the spirits of the children trapped inside them, their souls bound to the machines after they were murdered. Their haunting of the pizzeria is not just a result of technical malfunctions, it is a vengeful desire to make those responsible pay. The animatronics are no longer just trying to scare Mike. They are trying to punish him, believing he is connected to the same people who wronged them in the past. In his quest for survival, Mike realizes that the animatronics' attacks are not random. They are the spirits of the children desperately trying to reach out, to force Mike into uncovering the truth and to stop the horrors that have plagued the pizzeria for so long. Each night, he finds himself not just fighting for his life, but for the souls trapped within the animatronics. Realizing that his survival is now tied to unlocking the truth behind the dark past of Freddy Fazbear Pizza. The restless spirits will not stop until they have found the justice they crave, and it is clear Mike is their only hope, if he can uncover the horrible secrets before it is too late. As Mike delves deeper into the chilling history of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, the mystery surrounding the puppet, also known as the marionette, begins to take shape, and the horrifying truth becomes clear. The puppet is no ordinary animatronic. It's unlike the others in both appearance and purpose, and its role in the tragic events of the pizzeria is far more profound than Mike could have ever imagined. One night, while Mike is cycling through the security cameras, something strange happens. He sees the puppet on one of the monitors. Unlike the other animatronics, the puppet moves with a fluid, unnatural grace, its white face expressionless and its eyes hollow and black. Mike watches in horror as it moves silently through the darkened hallways, its long limbs swaying in a rhythmic, almost ghostly manner. For the first time, Mike feels a real sense of danger. This animatronic is different. There's something about it that feels alive, as if it possesses a mind of its own. The puppet is not just another animatronic, it is the key to the children's souls. Through cryptic clues and strange occurrences, Mike uncovers that the puppet was the first animatronic to be created with a unique, deeply connected purpose. It was designed to be the guardian of the souls of the lost children. When the children were murdered, the puppet became their protector, their only connection to the world. Its role is far darker than any of the other animatronics. It was tasked with trapping the souls inside the machines, forcing them to remain trapped within the haunted, malfunctioning bodies of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. As the nights progress, Mike's encounters with the puppet grow more intense. Each time it appears, it seems to be drawn to him, as if it senses that he is the one uncovering the truth behind the horrific past of the pizzeria. Its presence is chilling. It doesn't act like the others. Instead of aggressively hunting him, it watches from the shadows, almost as if waiting, its black eyes following his every move through the cameras. It appears at the most ominous times, and its mere presence signals that Mike is growing closer to understanding the curse that binds these souls to the animatronics. Mike soon learns that the puppet's connection to the animatronics is one of both power and sorrow. The puppet's role is to force the souls to relive their tragic fate, trapped in the twisted bodies of these machines for eternity. The animatronics' violent behavior isn't just out of aggression, it's driven by the puppet's control, which compels them to attack anyone who comes near, believing that anyone in the pizzeria is either a part of or responsible for their torment. The puppet is not just a protector of the children's souls, but also a harbinger of vengeance, making it a dangerous figure not to be taken lightly. On one fateful night, Mike comes face to face with the puppet, its eerie presence filling the security office. It looms just beyond the reach of the camera's field of view, its long, thin fingers stretching toward him as he desperately tries to activate the security doors and lights. For a moment, it just watches him, and Mike can feel the weight of the souls trapped within it, their endless pain and fury radiating off the puppet in waves. It is not until he comes to understand that the puppet is deeply connected to the curse of the restaurant, the reason the animatronics are cursed and why they hunt, that Mike realizes the extent of the puppet master's influence. The puppet's role is to keep the cycle of vengeance going, to trap the children's souls in this purgatory. The puppet's true power lies in its ability to manipulate the animatronics' actions, controlling them and feeding off the anger and tragedy that fuels their behavior. It's the puppet that controls the cycle of torment, and without it, the animatronics would never have been able to wreak havoc on the security guards or anyone else who dared enter the pizzeria. As Mike's understanding deepens, so too does his terror. The puppet's presence grows more frequent, and with it, the danger escalates. Mike is now caught in a battle not only for survival, but for the souls trapped in the animatronics. To end the terror, Mike must find a way to destroy the puppet, breaking the curse and freeing the restless spirits trapped within. But doing so to be easy. The puppet is not just a guardian, but a force of nature, its power linked to the very foundation of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Mike's growing knowledge of the puppet's role becomes his greatest weapon and his greatest curse. The closer he gets to the truth, the more dangerous the animatronics become, and the more the puppet reveals its terrible purpose. As Mike's final nights on the job approach, the tension reaches an unbearable climax. The animatronics have become faster, smarter, and more relentless. Every night, Mike faces a new level of horror, and he knows this isn't just a test of survival, it's the final battle. He's not only fighting for his life, but also for the souls of the children trapped within the animatronics and the destruction of the curse that has plagued Freddy Fazbear's Pizza for so long. From the moment the clock strikes midnight on his last shift, it's clear that the rules have changed. The animatronics are no longer just roaming the halls aimlessly. They know he's there, and they are hunting him with ferocity. The lights flicker as Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy move in unison, their eyes glowing with anger and vengeance. Mike can hear their mechanical footsteps growing louder, the haunting sound of their laughter now twisted into something terrifying. But it is not just the animatronics he has to worry about anymore. The puppet has become a real and present threat too. Mike frantically cycles through the cameras, trying to keep track of their movements. Foxy is the first to make a move, darting toward the security office with speed that surprises Mike. He slams down the security door just in time, but the power drains quickly, and he knows he can't keep doing this. Bonnie and Chica are closing in from opposite sides of the building, and Freddy is already in the hallway, his mechanical growls echoing in the darkness. With his heart racing, Mike pulls the mask over his face, hoping that it will be enough to fool the animatronics. He holds his breath, praying they won't see through the deception. The door rattles violently as Chica slams against it, her creaking metal body scraping the walls. Mike holds his ground, his body tense with fear, waiting for any sign that the animatronics have moved away. But when he checks the cameras, he's greeted by a terrifying sight. Foxy is already at the door, his movements swift and unpredictable. Mike quickly switches to the hallway camera and sees Freddy staring directly at him, as if waiting for the right moment to strike. The tension becomes unbearable as the animatronics grow closer, each one aware of his every move. Mike is running out of options. He tries to use the lights, the mask, and the security doors to fend them off. But every tactic he employs seems to only delay the inevitable. The animatronics seem to anticipate his every move, predicting his actions like they've learned his every strategy. And then the puppet appears. It's watching him, lurking in the shadows of the hallway, its long, thin fingers twitching as it moves closer. Mike realizes that the puppet's influence over the animatronics is growing stronger, and the only way to survive is to outsmart them all. He takes a deep breath, making a final decision. Mike pulls every last ounce of his energy together. He uses the cameras to track their every movement, constantly flipping between screens, monitoring their locations. He uses the doors and the lights to create distance when they get too close. The mask becomes his last line of defense, but even that's not enough anymore. As the puppet draws nearer, Mike knows that he can't just survive by evading the animatronics. He must destroy the puppet to break the cycle. In a moment of sheer desperation, Mike does the unthinkable. He closes both security doors at the exact same time, trapping Foxy and Bonnie on opposite sides. With the camera feed glitching, he loses track of Freddy, and Chica's face suddenly appears in the doorway, her eyes glowing red. Mike throws on the mask again, hoping it'll work, but as the seconds tick by, the pressure mounts, and the animatronics grow ever closer. The lights flicker, the power dwindles, and with a final heart-pounding moment of clarity, Mike knows he can't survive unless he confronts the curse head-on. In a final act of desperation, Mike takes control of the last working security system, hitting a hidden override button that powers up the entire building and triggers a massive system failure. The animatronics go into a violent frenzy, their movements glitching out of control. In the chaos, the puppet finally reveals itself in full view, its eyes glowing white, its face twisted in anguish, as it seems to try to stop Mike from escaping. But Mike, with his last ounce of strength, manages to destroy the puppet's control system, severing the link between the spirits of the children and their animatronic bodies. The building trembles as the curse lifts, and for a moment it seems like everything has gone quiet. The animatronics stop moving, their mechanical eyes fading into nothingness. The spirits are finally free. Mike stands, exhausted and covered in sweat, his hands shaking as he watches the monitors flicker one last time. The terrifying night has finally come to an end, and the restaurant's curse has been broken. Mike survived, but he knows this battle has taken a toll on him, leaving him with a lingering darkness in his heart, a reminder of the horrors he faced and the terrifying forces that once controlled the pizzeria. As the camera slowly fades to black, a chilling thought lingers in the air. The horrors of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza may be over, but its ghosts may never truly leave. The final moments of the movie unfold in an intense and haunting climactic sequence. Mike, having outsmarted the animatronics and seemingly broken the curse, breathes a sigh of relief as the building falls into an eerie silence. The animatronics lie still, their mechanical eyes dimming, their once menacing forms now dormant. For a brief moment, it seems as though the dark reign of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza has finally ended, and Mike has emerged victorious. The spirits of the children, freed from the clutches of their animatronic prisons, have seemingly found peace. But just as Mike turns away from the security monitors, about to leave the cursed establishment once and for all, something unexpected happens. The camera zooms in on the stillness of the pizzeria, with the faintest sound of whispers drifting through the air. For a split second, the shadows seem to move, almost imperceptibly, as if something remains lurking in the corners, waiting to return. The camera pans over the abandoned animatronics, and we see glimmers of light flickering behind their empty eyes, an unsettling sign that not all is as it seems. Mike's face twists with uncertainty as he stares at the cameras one last time. His hands tremble as he watches the screens flicker erratically. In the background, a low, ghostly laugh echoes through the halls. Suddenly a figure, a faint, ghostly silhouette, moves across one of the cameras, disappearing into the shadows before Mike can get a clear view. His heart races as the flickering monitors show the animatronics beginning to move ever so slightly, as if they are not completely still, but rather waiting for something. The screen glitches, and for a moment it seems as though the puppet's face flashes on the screen, its eyes still glowing with a fiery rage. Mike, now visibly shaken, approaches the door. He reaches for the handle, but before he can open it, the light suddenly cut out, plunging the pizzeria into darkness. He hears the faint footsteps of the animatronics once more, closer and closer, as if the curse is far from over. His breath catches in his throat as the clattering of mechanical limbs grows louder, and a new, darker presence seems to fill the air. As Mike stands frozen, a figure emerges from the shadows, its outline flickering in the dim light. It's a chilling silhouette of something new, something that wasn't there before. The camera zooms in on Mike's terrified face as he turns to face the figure, knowing that the horrors of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza may not be finished after all. With a sudden clanging sound, the screen cuts to black, leaving the fate of Mike, the spirits, and the animatronics uncertain. The final shot is a lingering image of the pizzeria's facade, now eerily silent, as if it's waiting for the next chapter to unfold. A faint, distorted laugh can be heard in the distance as the credits begin to roll, and the audience is left with a chilling sense of unease. Cliffhanger ending. Has the curse truly been broken? Are the spirits finally at peace, or have they simply been waiting for something more? The haunting question remains unanswered, leaving the door wide open for a sequel or the continuation of the nightmare, as the story of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is far from over. The possibility of new horrors lingering in the pizzeria leaves the audience on edge, with the knowledge that Mike's survival might not mean an end to the terrifying legacy of the animatronics. The final scene suggests that while one chapter may have closed, the darkness of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza will never truly fade. And the terror may soon return to haunt Mike and anyone else who dares to step inside.